Alright guys, let's talk about how to play Eldlich. It's November 2023. This particular list is inspired by a list that I seen a guy on here named Gores, not sure about his real name. He's on YouTube. Anyway, I think he got second at a regional, actually tied for first. So pretty impressive, especially for Eldlich in 2023. I've personally played Eldlich on and off for the last few years since I got back into Yu-Gi-Oh! But right now, I think this is the way to play it. This is very similar to his build, but before this, I was running the Simple Spoils package. I cut that. It just didn't come up enough, and you'll see kind of why. But let's start off. I'm going to put this to the side. This, pretty standard. 2 Golden Boys. Got them in that QCR. I love that. You're going to have 3 of the Sanguines. 3 Conks. This is a free pop a lot of times, and it's a body. You build a wall, and 2 of the Hawks. The Banish feature very rarely comes in handy, but there's cases where it may present itself, maybe against Tearlaments or something like that. Or mirror matches, things like that, get rid of their Golden Boy. This is very standard right here. And one key, when you chain, be sure to chain, you know, if you got this on the field and nothing else, you know, 1, 2, 3. That way, Eldlich comes out first, this comes out, pop, this comes out, banish. So, you know, just be careful with that, be mindful of that, how you chain. I'll show y'all some more combos here in a minute. Let me put this up. The next most important package is going to be the Horus package. So, 3 Mcetis. He's going to let you get to the King's Heart if you don't already have it in hand. If you already have it in hand and Mceti, typically I'm going to use that for Ash Bait, pop something else, hopefully one of these other guys, to be able to bring out a King's Heart and draw one. This deck is all about draw power. I'm playing all 3 of the other guys. People say this one sucks. It doesn't. It makes it to where your cards can't be attacked. Your Horus monsters can't be attacked. Also, they cannot be destroyed by card effects. I think that, let me read that right. Cannot target Horus monsters on the field with card effects. So that's pretty good. If you get all these boys out, let's just say you got all 4 out, and they get rid of your King's Heart, because that's what a lot of them want to do, is get rid of that King's Heart. You're going to activate like 4 different effects. This one's going to draw like 4 cards right on the spot. This one's going to send one card on the field to the graveyard. Send, keep that in mind. Also, I don't think it targets. This one, you can add 2 from the graveyard or the banish zone to hand, or shuffle it back in the deck. So if you're running like the Dogmatica Ecclesia package, that can really work well with that. And then which one? Yeah, this one's going to add them back. This one's going to draw, and this one's going to basically make your Horus monsters invincible for the turn. And you're like, well, what about this trap? The trap, it comes up. It's worth keeping in there. If you're going to cut anything, this will be it out of this package. You're going to side this out a lot, most likely. Whether you're going first or second, it just depends. But anyway, if this ever comes up, it's so handy because it's once per chain. Let's just say you have this face down, you have your full board built, and somehow they clear all your monsters. You're going to chain this, pop, chain 1, bring back Mceti. They chain something else. You're going to chain it again, bam. Put them all back on the field if you want to. Also, when you send it off King's Heart, you get to bring it right back and set it. So, or you can send it off Eldlich. It's just, there's so many things you can do right there. So, very powerful stuff. Also, you'll probably end up siding this guy out though, depending on who you're playing and what you're playing against. But this deck, it can go first, it can go second. It's pretty great. Then the key ingredient. This is quite a lot of people are playing this package now with Eldlich. Rhoda, get your Kin out. Get your Kin out. Get your Gin. I mean your Gin. You want to summon Gin. Give them a Kin. Draw 2. Discard 1. So this one's pretty self-explanatory. Also, that's going to bring this up. This is typically the best scenario here. They've activated an effect. So now, what does that mean? All right, you'll see what that means. That means you get to activate talents, bam, talents, bam. When you hit them with talents, most likely you're going to draw 2. But if they got a problem monster, take control of it, because then you can link it off. Something like that. Let's see. I'll show you some combos in a minute. But Cursed Eldlich, this is another one you'll probably end up siding out. It does come out. It's good ash bait, and it helps you get stuff in your hand, in the grave. It has an effect when it leaves the field that you can set. Let me make sure. Yeah, set. Yeah, you can send. No, you can send Golden Lens Spell or Trap from your deck to the grave. So then you get the Sanguine in play and things like that. The next things, the next package, if you want to call it that, Nadir. 3 Nadir, 1 Ecclesia, 1 Dogmatic Punishment. That's another difference in mine and Gore's. He was running 2 Dogmatic Punishment. Dogmatic is not that powerful, if you ask me. But it does come up a lot. And if nothing else, it can make them burn up a negate. So, pretty simple here. Nadir, self-explanatory. You're going to be running Garura. You may want to draw 1, or pop an Entis, pop a Fossil Warrior, destroy one of their cards. It's all up to you. Sometimes this may come up to where it creates a wall where they can't attack over it. That very rarely comes up that I've seen in testing, but nonetheless, you pretty much have to run it like that. Last but not least, this is where mine really changes a little bit. I'm playing a little bit heavier trap package. A little bit more floodgatey, a little more toxic. 2 Tikaboos, 2 summon limits. This one, I could almost cut this one, and I'm really debating on that one. But it does come up. It does come up. But in matchups like Pearly, you know, they don't really care about it that much. But it's great against a lot of other things. Skill Drain. Skill Drain is, in some cases, it's an auto win. I was playing Rescue Ace the other day, popped Skill Drain. He had nothing for it. So, you know, boom, win the duel. And then the Daruma Cannon. The Daruma Cannon is the Daruma Cannon. This is going to be... I look at it a couple different ways. Pearly, it can buy you some time, let you attack over Noir. It can link, you know, a lot of decks that are linking off a lot, Unchained, it's just gonna, it can wreck them, or at least buy you enough time to build your board the next turn. But this card is pretty OP, I'm not gonna lie. But I wouldn't run 3 of them per se. Just because there's some stuff out there that can negate it, etc. So it's not the best trap in the world, but it's definitely good enough to be in this deck. So let's go into the extra deck. Extra deck, Garua. These are all Nadir, Dogmatica targets. Entis, Fossil Warrior. These are all Nadir and, you know, all those kind of cards right there. Entis, destroy their monster. Garua, draw 1. Fossil Warrior, destroy their monster. Let me make sure. This one... Well, this one can actually destroy any card on the field. I think this is the one that's just monsters. Yeah, this one's just monsters. So, this one's usually one that you're going to activate after their board's already built. You know, if you use this on Dogmatica, very rarely you're going to use this one on turn 1. Just maybe if you're playing Labyrinth or something, possibly. Zombie Vampire. This one comes up sometimes, but it's there's kind of a cost to it. It just depends if you have your Horus monsters. This isn't a turn 1 play, in my opinion. This is a turn 2 play. Make Zombie Vampire mill, bring your Horus monsters back. Then you can go into SP. You know, if you're not going to be able to OTK them, that's typically what this is for. But it's great. Mill, special summon. You can get something away from them that you need to get away from. SP. It's SP. If you're playing this format, you need to be running this. There's no deck that can't use this, I think. Anyway, do the Zombie Vampire play. Get rid of say there's one Horus left, get rid of him, just bring all the Horuses back after you already use this effect. It's great. And then bring SP out, banish, keep her on the field, or do something else. These two, they kind of go together. These two kind of go together, and this one rarely comes up. Just in the format now. I mean, if it does, it does. You know, if you can OTK with it, go ahead. This one, in time, sometimes. It just depends. This is going to be different. I don't think he was running this one in his deck. This one comes up, and you can, especially like, you know, turn 2 or turn 3, make it turn 3 still with your, and you still got your Horus monsters on the field. Make this guy, bring all your Horuses back. Typically that's enough for a game, and they're all level 7 or higher, so it makes him very, very powerful because I think he can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects, and they can't target it with card effects. So it makes him a beast. Coach King, another one. You know, time card. It can win in time. Also, it can just really get you some draw power. The problem is it requires 3 level 8s to do it. So a lot of times I don't like to do this on turn 1, but you know, it's just all about situation. Another one where if they're running dark, steal their monster out the grave, use its effect, whatever you're trying to do, it might be good enough just to OTK that turn with it, especially if you make it with the Horus monsters, bring your Horus monsters back. Self-explanatory. This guy, I want to cut it, but I'm just afraid it's going to come up under skill drain one day, where I just need like 4,000 to get over a Chaos Angel or something. So it's going to stay. It's just a body. You're not going to go into it much else. Zeus. It comes up. It comes up. You know what it does? Just board wipe. It's very rarely going to come up with a lot of material, but you can go over a Coach King, I think. You know, if that ever came up. Well, no, you can't battle with Coach King. Anyway. I don't know. It comes up, though, every now and then. This. Need a clear Chaos Angel, something like that. This comes up. Or you need to clear some other weird monster. This comes up, and she's powerful. And typically, again, you can just bring your Horus monsters back. That's the goal with her. This one, certain situations you may go into this, if you know that they're playing, you know, emergency or rescue ace or something, or fields, but some you can negate. It's not that common that you go into this though. Typhon, very rarely does this card win the duel. Let me put it that way. It's just, it has too many restrictions, but you kind of got to play it. So just, I mean, if nothing else, for Zeus, it's the anti-Zeus. I mean, it really is. So if that's like all they have left, you know, if it's kind of a grind game, you know, it can do something sometimes. You just got to know when to use that one. Now for the extra deck. The extra deck, 3 Nibiru. This is another one. I think this is going to be a lot different than Gore's. Just in the format, Nib, it can just wreck decks, you know, Monadium, Infernoble, Unchained. Just depends where you hit them. You got to do it all at the right spot, though. Another one, get rid of them tricky monsters, people that are ending on Dispatter, Baron. Hey, gone, Baron. Let's see, Spell and Trap removal, Lightning Storm. It's almost like every time they typically have a negate up, so Lightning Storm very rarely wipes them. So let's say if they have a back row, and you have a Lava Golem in this hand. Lava Golem, take the Lightning Storm, wipe their back row if you can, or what you can of their back row, and just hope they don't have a strong negate. 2 Kaijus just for single card removal, because sometimes they'll end on let's see, like X Pearly Noir, something like that. Droplet is Droplet. It just does stuff, and you're running spells and traps and monsters. Typically, this card's gonna go through in this deck, but you won't always side this in. So it's all situational. You gotta know where to side and where not, and it's luck of the draw at that point. Dark Ruler, basically just a droplet, but has no cost, and you would just hope that it goes through. They can't activate monster effects in response to this, so Baron, Dispater, no monster effects, goodbye. Then you can just play your play out. So that's pretty much it. Like I said, I'm running a lot heavier trap package. Running all the boys, all the Horus boys. One thing we will talk about is some combos. And another thing, 2 Eldlich, there is times where you would want 4. There is. I mean 3. There's times where you'd want 3. Yeah, of course I'd want 4. But the problem is, you know, you don't want your hand looking like, you know, like this. You don't want your hand looking like this. You see what I'm saying? You don't really want that. Not in this deck that we're playing. You don't want to wind up with a bunch of traps and Eldlich. It ain't the best thing that can happen. Let's talk about some combos. Let me shuffle the deck, and we will go over some combos. Alright, I shuffled. We're going to simulate a cut. I cut the deck. We'll draw 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is a good hand. We'll just, in this circumstance, we'll say we're going first. That's what we want, of course, is to go first. Alright. I'm going to give scenarios. With this hand, I'm going to give a few different scenarios. So what I would do here is test for the Ash. I would probably use Rhoda, reinforcement of the army, to add a level 4 or lower card. Okay. Let's just say it goes through. They may not Ash this one. They may not Ash, okay? Because they might think we're playing Rescue Ace or something else and they want to save it. So, or they may Ash it, but either scenario, we'll go through both. So, let's see here. We've added the Gin. This will go to the grave. Right off, we're just going to summon our Gin. Okay? Activate effect. Give them a Kin. If they have Imperm here, they will probably Imperm this. If they don't Imperm this, they might Ash the Gin. So, let's just assume that it goes through. We will draw, we'll simulate another cut here, which this is all just simulation. We'll draw 2, discard 1. Draw 2, discard 1. Perfect. That's what you want. You want one of them engraved for free. Okay, so by now we know that they don't have an Ash, because they probably would have Ashed that right there. But just to test it again, we can use Nadir. And we can send Garura. So we'll bring out the Ecclesia. Bring the Ecclesia. Shuffle the deck again. I'm not going to shuffle crazy. Just a little bit. Okay. They'll cut again. Garura effect to draw a card. And now we have our golden boy. This literally doesn't get any better than this. And I'm going to show you in a minute what we can do. Alright. Now, at this point, I'm pretty sure that they don't have Ash or Imperm. You know, they might have Imperm, but it don't matter. I'm going to activate Imseti effect. And we are going to pitch Eldlich, baby. We're going to pitch him and Eldlich. And now we get to add a King's Heart. And you're like, why are you adding a King's Heart? You already got a King's Heart. You'll see in a minute. Okay. Let me shuffle that. Alright, simulate a cut. And then we get to draw one. Alright. Literally, this is the perfect hand here. Literally perfect. It can't get no better. Chances are, at this point, like I said, we still know we don't have an Ash. They don't have Ash, they don't have Imperm, they don't have nothing. Okay, activate King's Heart. What I'll do here, test, you know, I just want to make sure they don't have something weird in their hand. We're going to bring out Happy. pay attention to the link zones. You don't want these to go, you do not want Happy or this one to be taken by a stupid relinquished anima or something stupid like that. Okay, at this point, we know good and well we're pretty safe. So activate tactics. You're probably saying, how are you doing talents? They didn't activate a monster. The kin that you gave them with Gin, they activated it. So now we draw 2. Not the best draw here, but we have a Gin in hand, discard fodder. All right, so now we're going to discard. I'm going to discard the Gin to dump this one off. It don't matter which one, Dumatev or this one. And then we will probably dump, in this case, I think we'll dump Ecclesia or this. It don't really matter. It depends what kind of play you want to go from here. I'd probably dump this one because you can activate it this turn. So drop Kubsanev, whatever his name is. Drop Kubsanev. They could have a nib in hand. They could have a nib in hand. But what we can do is we can bring out Dumatev. If you're worried about nib, you don't have to bring out this guy. We can play under nib. But the problem is the problem is that we really need all 4 of them on the board. It's very possible they have nib, but a lot of people aren't. It's probably 50-50 on who's main decking it and who ain't. A lot of lab players are, but if you're playing lab at this point, you would know it. A lot of people are siding it, but I doubt they're going to have it. So what we're going to do now is, I'm just going to say they don't. We're going to bring him out. All right. Here's our board. Now what we can do is activate this, engrave, to banish, to set a conch. We will set the conch. And look, don't be scared to use all these cards this turn, because we have quite a lot. We are going to keep the King Sark in hand. The hand is the safest place for this, because if they do get rid of this, and you make it through the next turn, which you probably will, that's the good thing about this. Very good chance you're going to make it through. One thing that destroys this is Evenly. Evenly wrecks. It wrecks this deck. But, I mean, what are you going to do? We're going to set the skill drain for safety. Set the skill drain. And we are going to activate Cursed Eldlich. And we're going to pay the 800. We're going to activate it. And we're going to use its first effect to add an Eldlich monster or Golden Land spell trap from your deck to your hand. But if you pop this, then you won't have the recursion next time. And you won't... So it's just kind of up in the air. But what I would probably do now that you activated this, I would go ahead and add this one. Okay. Or the other one. It don't really matter. For this, we will set it. Activate Eldlich. Pop it. We got Eldlich back in hand now. We can't special him. There's no room. But the good news is you have him in hand. Now in the end phase, just for the example, we'll go to the end phase. We'll be able to set this Elixir. So now look at the play we have. We have a lot of plays here. I mean, we literally have, a crazy board right here. So the way I would handle turn 2, this is what you got in your hand right now. Let's just say turn 2. They go into whatever they're trying to go into. If you see that it's going to be basically monster-based effects, you can pop the skill drain right here. You can pop the skill drain right here, and you're probably going to win that duel. Because even if they get run one of these, bring out the Eldlich, there's no way they're running over that many cards. And you can destroy any problematic card with the conch. But let's just say they don't. They save it. Let's say they do what you want them to. They destroy the sarcophagus. Say they have a cyclone, whatever. Even if it gets harpied, it's not the end of the world. Send that. Chain 1, chain 2, chain 3, chain 4. We're going to add back. Any of these you want. Not the deer, not Rhoda. Wouldn't add any of them. I would probably add the Gin. Definitely the King Sark. That is the most valuable card in your deck. But here, you have some options. Depends on the play. This should be coming back to you anyway, and the Kin at the end of battle phase. So, I'd probably add back the Talons. But that's optional. Just depends what you need, what you want. Now, his effect. We're going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He draws 5 cards because he draws as many equal to the number of monsters with different names in your main monster zone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So would you look at that? Would you look at what we just drew into? We have discard fodder. We have just a ton of stuff. Just a ton of stuff. Now, his effect, we just made our monsters invulnerable to battle and being targeted with card effects. So that's insane. And now, if they still have that stupid monster, stupid card on the field, well, sent to the graveyard. Be gone. Be gone. At this point, if they have anything, they're going to have something, maybe, you know, to at least get them to the next turn. They're probably going to set some cards, go into defense position, something, you know. Next turn, let's just play this out. Next turn. This is going to come back to hand. Draw. So we're going to have Ken. We'll have Ken in hand. We're going to draw something else since we would already have Ken. Oh my gosh. Like this. Dude, look at this. Look at this. This is insane. This is an insane hand. We literally have a whole deck in our hand. Okay. So at this point, you could activate the Gin again. Ken, that's what I would do. If you could. If they don't have an answer to it, you're going to draw 2. I mean, this is insane, guys. This is freaking insane. So, at this point, this one we're going to go into the extra deck for the first time. And I would probably go into... Depends what they have on the field, what kind of monster they have on the field. But in this case, let's just say they just set a back row, a couple back rows, set a card, face down defense position. We know it's probably not much in this meta. There's not going to be a lot of flip effects. So in this case, we would probably make this guy. So bop, bop, don't matter which ones. They're coming right back. Make this guy. And we're literally going to bring every single one of these guys back. Every single one of them. It seems unfair, I know. Then what we will do is we will go into Zombie Vampire with the ones we didn't use. So we didn't use this one and one of the other ones. Doesn't really matter. Probably leave Dumatef. Take Dumatef because his attack goes down. Take Dumatef. Make this. Mill 4. Bow. 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 Make that. And we're going to bring Dumatef back because we pitched him. Or whatever his name is. Quasimodo. So this is what we're looking at. That's what we're looking at, guys. Alright, so at this point, this would normally have an extra material left on it, but whichever one. I think I discarded the wrong one. Anyways, we have some plays here. just kind of depends what you want to do. If you want to go into Coach King and burn them, this will be the time. But you couldn't battle this turn, so I probably wouldn't do that unless you were in time. But if you know that you could finish them off here, let's just look at our hand. I mean, our hand's insane, dude. Our hand's freaking insane. So, before we'd have to bring the King Sark back. And if they destroyed it, we had another one in hand, so it didn't matter. I was just being very assuming. Now, if we need to pop something, we can send Eldlich and just one of the probably send this Eldlich. Just have another one. Now he's in grave, and we just pop one of their back rows, test their back row, see if there's anything in it. If we need to free up something, we can with Eldlich. You could link off again. You could do just all kinds of cuckoo banana stuff, but I would just go into battle phase. They got the kin. They got another card. Attack with happy. Send it to the grave. Attack over that with this. Direct. 3K. 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 Game. If for some reason it's not game, you can use his effect. Banish. Dude, it's unreal. It's unreal. Anyways, as you can see, there's just a ton of options there. I mean, I may have even misplayed a little bit on which ones to summon. I mean, it's all, you just got to think about it. You know, you got to know what's on the field, what ain't. You may need SP more that turn. You may need this. You may need that. You may have to play a little bit more defensive. Or you can really push. I mean, that's one thing this deck does. I mean, it pushes really good. I mean, you can push hard. And you've seen what we had in our hand. We had this floodgate. We had every freaking floodgate you could want. So even if our board was a little weaker than that, we're getting to the next turn. We're doing something. And you're at least, at worst, wasting a lot of their time. You know, hey, a draw, you know, it's better than a loss. You can top events, you know, with, let's say you go XO1 or XO2 or something. I mean, you can still top events like that. So decks like this are great for that. You know, it's either kind of all or nothing deck. If they would have had an evenly right there, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, we would have been fried. But that's any deck, you know. You know, this deck, it doesn't like Shifter, it doesn't like evenly, it doesn't like Lightning Storm doesn't hurt that bad, really. Should have been smarter, you know. Also, you could be smart, put them all in defense position, but in that particular case, they have weak defense, so you kind of got to take the chance. But if they get targeted, it's a win-win. I mean, either way, it's a win-win. Craziest part about this deck, you know, it's only 40 cards. It seems like so much, and it synergizes pretty well. You know, you got the graveyard stuff that goes well with Eldlich. A lot of graveyard stuff, but again, you know, Shifter kind of wrecks it. DD Crow, it doesn't destroy this deck, but it's not great. But it's just a one-time banish. But Shifter really messes it up. Well, let's not talk about that. Let's pretend like that doesn't even exist. But there's plays around that still. There's plays around Shifter. Not the best, especially if you draw some floodgates, some Eldlich traps, some draw power. You can still do some stuff with it. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. And like I said, this is how to play Eldlich in 2023. I mean, people love Eldlich. I know I do. And I mean, this is the only way to play it, and it's actually competitive. You can top with it. You can win with it. It's not the best deck, I would say. Definitely not. But it is good. It can steal some wins. So, thanks for watching.